Hey there, this is Amanda. In this episode, you're going to hear a couple of different times a really, really hot mic. We tried diligently, by we, I mean me, to take out all of the hotness in that mic and make it sound super mild. I failed. We decided to keep it in there because it was super important to the story, so we wanted to move it along. Thanks so much for your patience, and if you're interested in editing all of our episodes for free, make sure to email us at onlysusfans@gmail.com. Thanks.
Taking it from the top.
I wonder what that means.
The top of the page.
Oh, because I know it from dance. So I guess the top of the song, which was written on a page with lyrics. So that's what it comes from.
I think so. That makes sense, right? Take it from the top of the page.
Of lyrics for the song that you're going to dance to. And
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're sisters
in law.
We're watching Suits one episode at a time.
It's a show so nice, I've watched it twice.
And a show so great, I'm watching it late.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Maggie's never seen it and Amanda's obsessed. They don't wear fancy suits, they are casually dressed. They are sisters-in-law and they got a show about a law firm drama that aired a few years ago. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans. Only Suits fans, only Suits fans.
This is season 2, episode 6, All In. You had to close your eyes and meditate.
I did.
For
I
that.
had to meditate through it. I feel like when we record every other episode, it gets a little unhinged.
It does. I think it's, yeah.
We get looser.
Yeah.
Oh, I am all in on Suits. I am all in on this episode.
I am too. It was a little dancey episode.
It was a little dancey. I knew you would love this episode. When I was watching, I was like, I bet Amanda is geeking out.
Geeking out. You want to brief it up for us?
I do. In season 1, I'd say, bet it all on Harvey. But this episode makes me think our favorite suit isn't the safest bet when it comes to sound judgment. But he wouldn't want to hear this feedback. So long as he's winning energy companies in poker games, he doesn't have the energy to waste on what could have gone sideways. Meanwhile, Rachel and Lewis meet up to bust some nuts at the Nutcracker. And Jessica Pearson's pranks from her past went too far and come back to punk her. But there's no Ashton Kutcher in sight. She's going to have to fix this on her own.
Dang, that was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
This brief was a little bit easier for me to write some puns than the last one. Mike might have a Batman origin story, but he's hardly a Bruce Wayne. Nevertheless, Butch and the Sundance Kid take on Atlantic City in their best penguin suits to keep Harvey's client out of trouble. But it's too late. He's already down the river of cocktails and clubs and lost his company at the poker table. Harvey takes a gamble on himself and plays the man to win it all back. Lewis and Rachel are on point as they take on a new client. They are hoping the rehearsal space will raise the bar and make good on repairs. It turns out Sergei may be good at coaching attitudes, but he has a bad attitude when Lewis confronts him, and it's too late.
Oh, Tutu. This is a good one.
An old college prank comes back to haunt Jessica when she realizes the judge for the Coastal Motors case is none other than Judge Ella Foreman. Jessica has the forethought to know that a generous campaign donation may not salvage their relationship, but it will salvage their case and help Jessica save face.
That's true. The tutu is fantastic.
I thought that
the
was
point
really
is
cute.
fantastic.
Yeah.
All your dance ones. And I should know, you are a non-professional dancer.
A non-professional dancer. I was very proud of, and it's too late.
Did you do ballet? I guess you probably did ballet when you were younger.
Yeah.
And then you moved into
Tap and jazz and
Tap and
lyrical
jazz.
and hip-hop and all that stuff. I did a little bit of ballet, yes, as a child. I was in tap and ballet for, a handful of years. Tried my hand at point, tried my toes at point. And it's exactly what you think what they show you in all of the movies and everything.
Awful.
It's awful. So
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of like my toes, you
Kind
know?
of like them. Kind of need them.
And I just didn't love it, but it was good at the time for posture as I sit up straight.
Yeah.
But also it just teaches you all of the position. You need to know all of those positions. I tried to work in the different positions and some more ballet phrases, but it wasn't going to work. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't think of, they didn't really have like a posse with them, which I would call a
That would've
passe.
been good.
I am going to call that though, something that's wrong with races.
Oh, Reveille? Is that it? Is that what's wrong? Mm-hmm. That really stood out to me.
Yeah.
Mostly because I didn't know how to spell it.
Oh, did you have to look it up?
Well, I spelled it and then I clicked
Okay.
correct. Yes. Interesting.
And it's
Interesting.
releve, not reveille.
And did I say releve?
You said reveille.
What did he say?
It's releve.
It is releve.
Yeah.
I said reveille. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to reveille the storylines.
Okay.
That's how I say reveal. How do you say reveal?
Reveal.
Are you going to say reveille? Let's reveille.
Let's put it up for a vote.
Let's reveille Atlantic City. You want to go there first?
Yeah, let's do it.
This whole thing starts, the whole show starts, and there's no secretary at all. There's just a
So
phone
sad.
call.
An empty desk. Phone is a ringing.
And Harvey picks it up.
Yes.
And then he calls Ray
It
to
says,
come pick him up.
bring me a tux.
And then you think, where's he going? He's going to Mike's apartment.
Yeah, comes in, makes fun of Mike's apartment. Also, Mike is watching Different Strokes, which I didn't know that you could ever watch those in syndication. Did you ever watch Different Strokes growing up?
I did. Yeah, it was on Nick at Night or TV Land or something like that.
I watched it like whatever network it was on prime time, whenever it came out.
Really?
Yeah, I was never watching it in syndication with Mr. Drummond,
Yeah, I only watched it a little bit. I wasn't like super
Arnold
into it.
Willis, and Kimberly. Yeah.
But it was on, Mike's in there and Harvey's making fun of everything. Doesn't mention the lamp. But he does say, get your tux on. Mm-hmm. And Mike's like, what? Who has tuxes?
Yeah.
I'm not Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. It's a fun little, and you'd called out that Mike has an origin story. So if he was,
Bruce Wayne.
he would have a tux.
Maybe he will eventually.
Maybe.
Maybe this will be the catalyst for him to get a tux.
Yeah. Would there ever be a catalyst for you to have like ball gowns on hand? When you got stuck and needed a ball gown?
Oh, yeah.
Do you, if I called you tomorrow and said, I have tickets to this formal event, could you
Could I
you
pull
pull it off?
something? I do have some like formal. Yeah, I could.
Okay.
Yeah. From weddings,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Depends on what season. It'd have to be
That's
like,
fair.
the
That's fair.
season that I happen to go to a formal wedding.
Check your phone tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. I'll have Ray come pick you up. He's just going to bring us both Texas,
So they are in the casino.
which Mike is banned from.
Yeah, Mike. We find out that Mike cannot tie a bow tie, and he is also banned from this casino for counting cards. LOL.
Yeah.
But Harvey's like, no one's gonna know because you're in a tuxedo, and they walk in and they get champagne because they're tuxedo men. They're penguins.
I love them walking through. I just love this whole thing is being filmed in the casino because it's fun to see them kind of get out of the
firm.
world and just the world that they're in. So I also imagine what it would be like as a super fan. Did people know who they were at that point because they're in season 2 and then they're filming? Like, is that a big deal? Obviously, those are extras, but like, what's the logistics to be able to do
Right.
a shoot in a casino?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't have the answer to.
So they're there to see Keith Hoyt, who is a keynote speaker for this clean energy conference. He's also Harvey's client. He's also a gambler and an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He has, what is it? It's he's a compulsive gambler.
Yeah.
Which I did a report on in 8th grade.
Compulsive gambling?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I don't know why. We had to pick a topic that we thought was interesting, and I picked compulsive gambling. And I was like, this is bad. Gambling is no good.
Oh, okay. It's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Anyways, he basically bet over $3 million and lost it all because the river is a 10 of clubs.
Yeah. How much do you know about poker?
I know that you want to have, like, full house or, like, I know what the things are. Like
Yeah.
a straight flush or that, but...
Yeah, so the river is the last card in that
And it
community
comes
hand,
up.
and it comes up. So it was a bummer because they knew they were totally fine unless the river happened to be 10 of clubs.
Right.
It's also called Fifth Street. I found
What?
out. Yeah, they call it Fifth Street sometimes. And then I wanted to find out why is it called the river. And people don't completely know. Like there's different
legends.
There's different legends. Some of them say that it has to do with the riverboats because people used to go out on the boats and that's how they would gamble. Also, that if you're trying to go against the river, like you're going upstream. So, also if you Google the meaning of the river in poker, it also there's like the internet is split on trying to explain to you what a river is.
Really?
Yes, even when you say the word poker.
Interesting.
Yes.
They wanted the river to be any club. It could be 51 other cards, but it was the one it couldn't be.
Yeah, that sucks.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
But it's even worse than that. He didn't just lose $3 million. He also lost his company.
Dude, because he wrote it on a napkin.
Which I was just thinking, can you imagine gambling away your company?
There were probably times I wanted to.
I know! Like, sometimes it's like, depending on the company, like, can you imagine being like, hey, yeah, take my company as collateral? And then someone just takes it.
Yeah, it's just like, such oops. A weird, it's just such a like.
It's so weird. They were poaching him. They were like following him around because they knew what his company was worth. So it feels like they were baiting him to do this. Basically, this is real bad. And Harvey's like, that's real bad. And then Keith says, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a compulsive gambler and you owe me.
Yeah.
Like Harvey owes Keith. Which is weird.
Yeah, Harvey never owes anybody anything.
Right.
They always owe him something.
Right.
Harvey has just like bags on bags of favors.
Right, which Mike calls out later because that stood out to me too. It was like, what does Harvey owe this man?
Yeah.
But anyways, I have some predictions or some theories.
Yeah, so they need to go look at the napkin, or Harvey needs to look at the napkin, because for a contract to be valid, it needs offer, acceptance, and consideration. Plus competence. So,
and the napkin did in fact have the offer, the acceptance, the consideration. The what's called into question is the competence.
Because we find out Keith didn't just have one drink, like he said.
No.
He had 16 drinks.
Which is crazy.
And like about an hour or so is at the time. He's 180 pounds. That's insane.
That's insane. And he says, I'm not an alcoholic, but it's kind of like, my dude. That's a lot of liquor.
That is so much for anybody. I don't care if you weigh 380 pounds. That's a lot of alcohol.
Yes. There's a lady who works at the casino. She happens to be the head of security. Her and Harvey have a flirty relationship, as Harvey has with every good-looking woman in the tri-state area.
Yes.
She's the head of security. She's going to get him all the video footage so that Mike can later go through all of this footage to try and count to find out how many drinks he has.
Mm-hmm.
While Mike is in the office looking at all of this footage, the shots before this are these like sexy, long, romantic music shots of the building. And I was like, what is going on in Pearson Hardman? And it's Mike looking at security footage, and then Rachel comes by.
Yes.
Because she's working late on a case that she's working on with Lewis.
Which we'll discuss.
And she comes on in. And then it's like, looks like you're really coming along, is what they both say to each other.
Yeah, because she reveals that she's been brought on to help with associate work, which we will discuss in a minute.
But I thought the shots were real funny.
Yeah, very artistic. So they go to try and get the case dismissed because of the fact that there was not competence and that Keith was wasty whenever he made this deal. Big time wasty. Which is true, and the opposing side says, yes, that's true. However, opposing counsel was completely competent when they came the next day to try to reverse it and try and give you some money and get it away, and you were 100% sober.
Yeah, Harvey going to talk to people, like he got in trouble for the last episode, going to talk to Mrs. Randall. He does it again, sticks his foot in his mouth, and now they can't dismiss the charges because Harvey has gone thinking he can wiggle his way, thinking he can point the gun, and then whoopsie doopsie pointed back on you, Harvey.
This sucks because now they got to go to trial. Like, it's not gonna, or they at least can't get it dismissed.
Right.
So whether or not they settle, we don't know, because that always happens in the 11th hour. So in the interim, Thomas Walsh is going to assume control of the company. Yeah. So Harvey's got to figure out a new way around it. So they think on it, always grab a good bite to eat.
They go to a hot dog food truck.
And Harvey doesn't like that.
Nope, he doesn't. He wants it to taste a little dangerous.
Then the writing is just getting really fun. And Mike slides in when he and Harvey are going back and forth. Mike says to Harvey, all right, street meat. And then he keeps going, to be fair, as a girl who loves hot dogs,
I love hot dogs.
I love hot dogs. You know who also loves hot dogs? Arthur.
Yeah, my son.
Yeah.
My
Arthur,
son loves hot dogs.
I think he loves hot dogs.
Almost as much as his mother.
Yeah, and his aunt.
Who ate 6 hot dogs while pregnant.
When you had the hot dog eating contest?
Mm-hmm. No,
just ate them because you were pregnant.
I bought them, and you're not even supposed to eat hot dogs when you're pregnant. And I said, I'm not going to eat one. I'm going to eat 6.
And probably when you're pregnant with Arthur. I love hot dogs so much. I have a video of me eating a hot dog in between Broadway musicals when I was with my mother in New York, trying to be Harvey Specter. I agree that a cart is actually better than a truck because the truck does try to be a little more artisanal.
You don't want an artisanal wiener.
Nobody wants an artisanal wiener.
No.
You want a basic wiener.
You want your basic 6-7 inch long
wiener
topped with some mustard,
with relish. And a vague sense of danger.
A vague sense of danger. But you go there all the time. It's familiar.
It's familiar.
You know what that hot dog tastes like.
It's your street meat.
You know what it feels like in your hand. It's your street meat.
You can down it real quick.
Just 2 gobbles and it's done.
All right.
Yeah.
So then he says, all right, street meat, you're always talking about this gun being pointed at your head. What if we take off our jacket and show them that we have a bomb strapped to our chest? And then he yells, metaphor, because people look at him and think that he is saying out on the streets that he
of New York.
Of New York.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
And Harvey's like, okay, sounds good. Here's the thing. So they go to meet with
Thomas
Walsh. So they go to meet with Thomas Walsh, and they're like, here's all the homeowners association claims against the company. And they're like, yeah, whatever, though. These claims have no weight. And he goes, it will have weight when Keith Hoyt says he agrees with these claims. Because if you're kicking him out, he's going to blow this whole thing up.
Yeah.
Harvey says to him, you have 3 options. I don't know. Whatever the options are. He's like, you have 3 options. But really, there's only one option. And the one option is you have to play poker against Harvey. And if Harvey wins, then he gets the entire company. And that's it.
That's it. And so Mike's, like, what are you doing? He said, I don't play the game. I play the man. And this is when Mike says, hey, I just want to let you know you've been played too, because we find out that the dictaphone 10 zillion was something that Lewis put in the office a couple of episodes ago.
Mike figures that out.
And Mike figures that out and lets Harvey know and says, hey, you got played too. You may be able to play the man, but somebody played you. And that was Lewis. And so it gets Harvey all worked up, and he goes in and confronts Lewis about it.
Well, but what it really does there is get Harvey mad,
yes,
so he can hyper-focus.
Super
so Mike
hyper-focus.
was like playing him in a way that's like, here's your adrenaline shot. Someone's trying to F with you, and it's
Yep.
Lewis. And that just makes Harvey like super, super focused.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're sitting in the shredding room. They're they're all sitting in the file room, right?
Playing
And one of the guys from the bad guys says, this isn't playing with grandma. And Mike's like, I don't see how that's an insult to a person. And it's like, okay, Mike, we have not seen Grammy in several episodes.
But at least there's a hint.
There's a hint. There's a mention of Grammy. And
There's a mention of Grammy. And I want to just ask you here, because you made a prediction
that we would see her.
Yeah. Is it because we saw her in our minds when Mike mentioned her? Like, did that prediction actually come true?
I think so. Yeah.
In the next episode, you said, in the next episode, Grammy will be back.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we did mention her. Mike did mention her.
Look how nice I am. Like,
that
if
was
I was
really
a lawyer,
generous.
how nice that would be for me to just
That was really
give that to you.
generous. That was so generous.
Okay.
I did also make a prediction that Harvey's new assistant would be horrible, and in fact, Cameron, the assistant that comes in to replace Donna, is god awful.
Yeah.
Too eager.
Yeah.
So they're in this room, and it's just like a bunch of bad talk back and forth, and Harvey's really getting into his head. Mm-hmm. Harvey's getting into, God, what's the...
Thomas Walsh's head.
Yes, he's really getting into Thomas Walsh's head.
Said your ex-wife said everything you ever came from you got from daddy, and tonight it's you, me, and that sack of chips. Let's play.
Yeah, because Thomas Walsh keeps looking over to his attorney.
And his attorney can't help him.
He can't help him.
He literally has to play.
He has to do it himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, oh, okay, I get it. You bet everything. You want me to bet everything, so I lose to you? I fold. And then Harvey takes all the chips.
And he says, I do have you beat, but these shitty cars don't have anything to do with it. Let's go. And just 20 minutes when he's telling it to Jessica that he won in 20 minutes, and she said, you're out of control. He said, I wasn't gambling. I was playing poker.
Right. Which is something your brother, my husband, has said before.
He's like, I'm not gambling.
I'm not gambling. I'm playing poker.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's just a
okay.
game.
Well, I did a report in 8th grade on compulsive gambling.
It's interesting. If there's not money involved, you could just be playing poker.
Yeah, you can just play poker. Right.
So if you're just playing poker and there actually isn't money involved, you're not gambling anything.
Right. Yeah.
But is it a gamble
But
if
it's
you're
not
going to
really
win?
fun if you're
But
not
is it
gonna...
a gamble if you're going to win?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
if you're playing
that's
the man...
my new Harvey Specter quote. I just made that up. I'm going to put that on my wallpaper outside of my house.
From Amanda Specter. Because gambling's what you're doing when you're playing against the house and hoping you get a blackjack. I'm playing against people, and against people I win. Harvey's like, I read people. I know how to do this. This is when Jessica throws in his face, though, like, you're chasing this, and she knows it. And I did feel like this was a really good conversation if Harvey would have received the information. Because she's telling him, like, you're spiraling, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, you have no tether. You're out, like, like, these are big, huge, risky things. You're going to talk to clients. You're really, like, stepping in your own way here.
And she thinks part of it's tied to the fact that Donna's gone.
Of course. And that's because that's a huge slap. I mean, Harvey's had a lot of traumatic reveals about his career in the last 6 episodes. Yes. He found out that most of the cases that he won from Cameron Dennis were messed with. They're fraudulent. He found out that, like, his number one gal, the person he trusts the most in the world, signed for a document and then shredded that document.
Yes.
So he is, like, on shaky ground. And I don't fault him for it, but I do fault him for being, like...
not recognizing that he's on shaky ground and he needs to get control of himself.
Yes, because he says to her, I just had a huge win and I'm not in a mood to hear about why it might have turned out as a loss. And I'm like, just listen for a second. We're not trying to celebrate you taking this
all the time. Well, it's almost like he wants to be celebrated with everything.
Yes, he wants to be celebrated. He's like, everything turned out okay, so the ends justify the means. And it's like,
but he is a man to be celebrated.
Jessica certainly celebrates him.
She does. But then she says, I need to know that you can focus. And he says, I'm focused, and just walks out.
Wouldn't it have been funny if he walked right out and hit the door? Like, that would be what I would do. This is why I'm not Harvey Specter, because I'd be like, I'm focused, and then I'd trip or something, run into a table.
Yeah. Next storyline.
Oh, I loved this one.
Lewis and Rachel. You called it the Rat King.
Yes.
Is the Mouse King.
Wait, I thought, though, he says the Rat King.
He says the Mouse King.
He does?
Yeah, and you had written your notes in here first, and so I had to rewind to make sure. And it is the Mouse King. He says, join you in the battle against the Mouse King. And
wow.
I just wanted to highlight it because it's part of your charm.
It's part of my charm. You know what I think it is Lewis has ratty character features.
Yeah.
And so when he said mouse, I just immediately heard rat.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a reference to the Nutcracker.
It is, but I don't know much about the Nutcracker.
That's okay.
I thought it was a Rat King. It's not a Rat King? It's the Mouse King? I mean, you know the Nutcracker.
Yeah, now I'm second guessing myself.
No, don't second guess yourself.
Mouse King.
That's so funny, though, because Rat King is like...
also known as the Rat King in some versions.
Okay.
So it's acceptable.
Okay.
But it is officially called the Mouse King.
Is this one of those regional things?
I don't know that it doesn't say anything about it being regional. We could take a vote and see what people call it. But if you Google, I mean, there's also a whole thing called the rodent royalty of the Nutcracker.
There's a whole fanfic.
Fan fiction around it. So I could see where you would say Rat King. I mean,
Yeah. Well, because a Rat King is like a thing, too, that's like known in New York, and it's super gross, and don't ever Google it.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, what I was thinking. But this is not a super gross story. In fact, it's like super charming how it starts off, because Lewis and Rachel are at the ballet. They're at the ballet, and they're not together, but they do end up sitting together. They just both love the ballet.
Yes.
And they've both been calling Donna, which kind of strikes Rachel as like, oh, Lewis does care about people. Like, you can see that they are bonding, especially after the last episode when she gave him the tennis ball. Like, they could be friends.
And you have a comment in here that I wanted you to expand on.
So a few episodes ago, I noted that Lewis always gets metaphors wrong. Lewis tries to chime in with chariots and fire, and Mike doesn't get it. I was like, oh my gosh, am I Lewis lit? Because I get words wrong. And I also sometimes think that I'm connecting with people on pop culture references, and then it does not hit, you know? So this made me feel better.
Okay.
It made me feel better that Lewis and Rachel are similar, same person. Because if I'm similar to Lewis, then I could also be similar to Rachel, could be similar to Donna.
Okay.
Because Lewis and Donna both love the ballet, both love bribing each other. Like, they have similar characteristics. So I'm like, okay, I can see myself in these women that are better than Lewis.
Okay, so you're putting yourself in that camp.
Yeah, I think I'm in like a Lewis, Rachel, Donna circle.
Okay.
I would never shred a document.
Where does that put me?
You're in a Harvey, Jessica,
Travis Tanner circle?
Travis Tanner circle. Would you agree? I don't know about the Travis Tanner because I don't know him very well.
Oh, I love him. One of my bosses texted me and said, I'm watching Suits. Are you Donna? I feel like you're Donna. Donna reminds me of you.
That's good.
Which is good. She also doesn't know me in the capacity of being a Jessica or a Harvey. Because I work for her, you know?
Yeah. I don't think, I don't think you're as manipulative, sneaky as Jessica Harvey. No. I think you're as confident, dare I say brazen, as Jessica Harvey. Willing to take the leap, willing to live life at this, not this.
Sure.
Doing, like, winning big, not losing small. That's where I see you. That's where fair. I see you over there.
I think that's how some people see me. I think she doesn't because I'm not in that position to do that.
Yes. Yeah. I think we all have traits of all of them.
Sure, we do.
But I do think I'm more of like, give me an order and I'll do it. What's my chain of command? Or I overthink the LSAT. You know, I think that's more where I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And this Harvey and Jessica, Travis.
Is that hard for you or is that good?
It's great.
That is, like, I feel like that's good for you.
Yeah, it's good. Okay.
So they're at the ballet. They freaking love it. They're like, this is so good. And then they hear someone talking about how shitty it is. So Lewis is like, I'm going to confront him.
Yeah, but it's actually Sergei Maskov. So
is this a real person?
I actually don't know.
Okay, I didn't know either. It sounded like such a real name because it was Sergei Maskov. But he's basically, Sergei is the head of the ballet, the choreographer, the person who runs it all.
There's just Sergei Kaskov on LinkedIn.
That's not him. What if it was?
Yeah, it's not.
So this is a fictional person, but he's like the person you want to know at the ballet. Lewis says to him, let me join you in your battle against the Mouse King.
So Lewis gives Harold the assignment to find all these things that are wrong with the rehearsal space, and he doesn't even understand any of the words. He says attitude, and he goes, well, and Harold thinks he's talking about like somebody's reaction to something, but attitude is actually a move in ballet. And then he goes, I need you to find out what the ballet company principles are. And he goes, integrity, fidelity. And he doesn't mean like a principle to live by, like a value or a principle. He means like the principles of the ballet, principals. Anyways, Harold is not fit for this.
No.
If the shoe doesn't fit, you can't wear it.
If the slipper don't lace.
Yeah, if the slipper don't lace.
I'm Harold Gunderson.
Yes.
He also says he's going to draft Rachel because he says Ms. Zane knows more about ballet than you, and she also knows more about law, which is a huge zinger to Harold Gunderson because Rachel is
a paralegal.
And
Harold Gunderson is an associate.
Yes.
So she's getting pulled up the ranks.
To
the big leagues. So, which is great. And then Harold's like, I don't understand, what's the deal with the ballet? And Lewis goes on and talks about it. He says, it expresses what cannot be put into words. You want to get ahead here, Harold? Take ballet. You said revele.
Revele. Reveal your ass back to work.
Yeah, releve. Your ass back to work. Releve, if you were to like physically releve your ass back to work, it would take forever to get back to the desk.
What is a releve?
Because a releve is not a traveling move.
Is it just lifting up?
Yeah, it's like up on your toes. Like when you're in any of the positions or you releve, you come up on your toes. Yeah. Is the easiest way to say it. So if he was to releve back to his to work, I wanted to see it.
That would be so silly.
Like he'd just be like up on his toes, up on his toes, up on his toes, up on his toes, up on his toes.
Little Binny Bunny, Harold Gunderson.
Yeah, so sweet.
Then Rachel is taking this very seriously. She's super excited. She's there all night. That's when she's talking to Mike. They're both like doing great. She found out that there's lead paint.
Yes.
In the rehearsal space that Sergei Maskov is trying to get repaired.
Yeah. And it turns out what's been happening is that Sergei was lying and he was pulling the money out. So if you show the P&L to Lewis, he's looking at it and he can see the money going out.
Right.
Right.
And Lewis trusts it because he's the
sees
financial
like,
guy.
Yeah, right. And he looks and he's a whiz. He doesn't see that the money is going in to Sergei's account. So he's just he's like embezzling money from his own company or from his own ballet or he has been hired by a board because it's a nonprofit. So he is putting the money into his account. He wasn't paying into the fund, and that's a big deal.
Lewis is so blindsided by this because he never trusts anybody, but he was literally starstruck by Sergei.
Yeah.
And he feels so stupid about it.
Yeah.
And then Rachel is like, the ballet is bigger than Sergei.
Yeah.
And then she points out that Lewis would light him up.
Yes.
Absolutely. On fire if he was not so intimidated by him.
And he does.
Yeah. He goes, she says, Lewis is ruthless. He's mean. And if somebody wrongs him, he wouldn't hesitate to tear him apart limb by limb. And Lewis done did it. He tore him apart.
He went after him.
He ended up taking all of the money from Sergei and putting it into a repair fund to fix the space, fire Sergei.
Yeah, because he's about to tell the board, and the board was going to fire him. It's like, the board loves me. It's like, no, the board's literally going to fire you. You've been stealing.
Yes.
Like, why would the board? You're not that good.
You're not. No one's that good. You are not the ballet.
You are not the ballet.
And you are not Lewis Litt. And he saves it. He does a great job. So then Mike comes into Rachel's office, and she's like, hey, I like Lewis. And Mike says, trust me.
It doesn't last.
It's not gonna last.
Yeah, it'll wear off.
In fact, she's listening to the dictaphone because she has to transcribe things that they were talking about for the case. And Mike is like, ooh, this is so great. This is so fun. Let's make fun of Lewis. Let's listen to all his private, intimate thoughts that he puts in his dictaphone.
Yeah, which is kind of like, Mike.
I know, just stop it.
What are you
Just be
doing?
nice to Lewis, and then he'll be nice to you. And they hear Lewis practicing English accents and practicing fun catchphrases, and it's all fun and games until they realize that Lewis recorded the conversation about Harvey and the lawsuit and all
Hiding
of that.
it from Hardman.
And that's why Hardman knew about Capital Motors.
Yeah,
Because Lewis
which happened
recorded
a
it.
couple of episodes ago is when that all happened.
Whew.
So now we find out why it happened.
Yeah. They just knew that Hardman figured it out. They didn't know that it was told on them by the Rat King himself, Lewis Litt.
Lewis Litt, the Rat King.
So Lewis is in his office just doing ballet because he's inspired, and he took ballet when he was 8 years old. He was the weird kid.
Did he take it, or did he say he saw it when he was 8 years old?
Oh, I thought he signed up for it because he was a
did.
rebel because all the
okay.
other people were doing.
Okay. I thought he just watched
But maybe
it.
not. I mean, I wrote down Rat King, so I don't know.
I don't know.
But he was into ballet.
Yeah.
So he's practicing, and Harvey shows him the dictaphone.
He's doing a little bit of a rendezvous, by the way.
Oh, rendezvous.
Yeah,
and then he's
like,
a
looks
rendezvous.
like he's in like second position. I feel like is what he's in second position, a rendezvous.
He's always in second position to Harvey Specter.
That's so good.
Thank you. I'm not even a ballerina. So Harvey comes in and he's like, here's the dictaphone. And then he literally pushes Lewis against a wall. Like he backs him against a wall. And Harvey is like in Batman voice, deep, grunty, Bruce Wayne says, Daniel Hardman is not the answer. You owe me.
Yes.
He's so mad.
This is what happens, though. Harvey has a big bag of O's.
What?
Like, people owe him.
Oh! I was like, Cheerios?
No.
He does. He has he's got a sack of O's.
Yeah.
And he's
like big sack
and he's
of O's.
and that sack is endless. Like it's bottomless.
He's dragging
O's.
on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
This is Harvey gets real mad, and he slammed Capital Motors president against the car hood. He gets into Lewis's face and whispers, "You owe me." You know, like he's getting a little aggressive. This is, I think, further evidence for Jessica that he's spiraling a bit.
Yep.
Speaking of Jessica,
what a little prankster she was.
yeah. These aren't. I have to say, This feels malicious and less pranky.
Yeah, this doesn't feel, which we're going to get to pranks, like actual pranks here in a second. This doesn't feel like, haha, let's do something fun. This was, I'm going to make you look bad because I want that job.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Basically what happens is she calls Harvey while he's at the poker table, which feels rude that Harvey answers it.
He just keeps talking. Oh my gosh. So
At the poker table.
Brings me to a point. Where is like the most annoying place for you when people just talk on the phone?
Anywhere.
Right?
You know what's even annoying? If you're walking or something and someone's in their car, but you can hear their phone conversation.
Yeah.
That's annoying too. I'm like, we should not be talking to each other on the phone. Unless you're listening to this podcast.
That's fair.
That's
you should
different.
roll down the windows.
That's different.
I was pulling out of the driveway a couple weeks ago. I got new gutters. Don't want to flex here. But nobody notices your gutters.
No one notices your gutters.
Except your neighbors.
Yes.
And my sweet neighbors next door. As I was pulling out, my gate was open. I went to go pull it. He goes, I like your gutters. And I was like, thanks. Nobody ever notices them. I could not have been listening to Taylor Swift louder. And the door was open. And it was just like, I think it was probably Bejeweled or something. And it was blaring.
Right now I'm in the room.
Let it in.
No, that's funny.
Yeah. So for me, it's like in a public place. There's sometimes at the nail salon, there are people that are on their phone. And I'm like, no. Just read it. Read your phone or go to sleep. Like, don't talk on the phone. Because like nobody's talking in here. The worst is on a friggin' airplane right before you take off or when you land.
Why?
I had to take a call on my flight on the way home because we were delayed taking off, and I answered it. It was a time sensitive call, and I got under the seat. I was like, "Hey, I'm on a plane about to take off. I don't want to be that person." And but I had to have this conversation, and I was so mortified because it's amplified. You're right there in this tiny space.
If someone, that's something I feel like with driving and talking on the phone, if you look uncomfortable and you look like you know that it's mortifying that you're doing this, like, oops, I made a bad mistake when I was driving. Oops, I'm talking on my phone on the plane. But I can see that you look uncomfortable with it. Then I have more grace.
Okay.
It's when people are like Harvey at this poker table is just talking to Jessica on the phone, and I was like, are there not rules?
That's
in the
exactly what I
casino?
was thinking. I wanted to text Kyle and say, who is my brother, your husband, and say, can you do this? Are you allowed to answer the phone at a...
That feels not like something you can do.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's just etiquette. Like, you wouldn't want to do it. So the judge that's been assigned to the Coastal Motors case is Jessica's old foe, who she did do a malicious prank, quote unquote, on. A young prank on Judge Foreman.
Yeah.
And Jessica's like, it was just a young prank. And it's like, humiliating someone for no good reason doesn't seem fair. And then Judge Foreman is like, not going to give Jessica any favors. She says, trials are about truth, and truth requires openness. Rest assured, Jessica, those who have done wrong will get what's coming for them. Which I was like, yeah, that's good. And also scary, because Jessica's harboring Mike Ross.
Yeah.
That's a wrong. She has Harvey, who's out there going rogue on so much stuff. That's a wrong. I don't know what she did with Hardman to get the other names off the firm, but this episode made me think Jessica Pearson does some dirty deals.
She does do some dirty deals. She does. The resolution here is that Jessica needs to fix this.
She does.
And
and do we say what she did to Ella Foreman?
She got her drunk and took off all her clothes. I don't know if she took her off all her clothes or was part of it.
She got her naked wasted.
Yeah. Inside of a classroom where there were going to be interviews with this firm. I don't know if it was with Pearson Harmon or whatever it was. Whatever job it was they both wanted. She woke up naked in that room. It was bad news bears. This is a big time prank.
This is a big time prank that she did not learn her lesson from either, because she did it again with Lewis and Harvey. Or with Harvey.
Yes.
With Harvey. And then Harvey said he did a prank with Lewis where he peed in Lewis's office and pretended it was cat pee.
Uh-huh.
What are these pranks?
These are
naughty pranks.
These
are bad.
Children. Yeah.
Here's a deposition for you.
Uh-huh.
What, have you ever done a prank?
I have done so many pranks.
What's your favorite prank?
In high school, I could do a whole episode about our group of friends. It was the girls versus the guys. It went on for an entire senior year. And I will say we as girls got them really good, they got us better. The worst was that one morning my parents were leaving to go to Vegas, and it was going to be the first time Kyle and I were going to be allowed to stay at home by ourselves, Kyle being my brother, your husband. And my parents were, I guess the guys thought my parents would be cool with this. And over the course of several weeks, they had been collecting furniture off of the side of the road that would resemble a house. And so we woke up in the morning, and they had set up an entire house in our front yard. Oh my God. So there was like a couch, 2 chairs, a coffee table, an old box TV. There was like a bathroom that had a toilet and a bathtub. And then there was like a kitchen table. And then there was they put a whole house
on your yard,
on our yard, and they set it up. They didn't just they thoughtfully put it together. What's crazy is, while this was happening, I was on the phone with one of them, and he was in the truck, talking to me on the phone and distracting me. And my window was on the front of the house, and I never heard them. And they set this whole thing up. No, my parents didn't hear it. We didn't hear it. And my parents were actually in on some of the pranks. And so we woke up the next morning, and my parents were like, you tell them it needs to be gone by the end of the day, and y'all are not staying by yourselves.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They also got me good on a couple of other things. One, I woke up one morning, and the entire car that I shared with Kyle, my brother, your husband, was full of shredded paper from top to bottom, front to back. They'd just been shredding paper for weeks and had bags and bags. And they got a key from my brother because he was on the soccer team. And so they were all on the soccer team, and Kyle was younger, and they
got the
forced
key.
him. Yeah. So, and then the one that I probably regret was in one of my jobs out of school. We had pranks back and forth that we did with people. I got some people good. They got me good. I used to tell people a lot, hey, you've been pegged for a drug test.
Oh, that's a good one.
When I know they had smoked weed, when we weren't having drug tests. And so they would just have to call out sick. It was totally awful. And then I did one time call somebody and say, hey, I got our HR director involved and said that Homeland Security was coming to confiscate their computer because they had suspected terrorist activity on it. And I got everybody in on it. And so that guy was really panicked.
Oh my God! You are Jessica Pearson!
To me, this is nothing. I want to be like, Jessica, step up your game.
Do you want to know the worst prank I've ever done?
Yeah.
My high school best friend, Rima, collected Snapple caps all summer.
Okay.
And filled her locker with them.
Uh-huh.
All different Snapple facts. Had to drink so many Snapples. Had people bringing Snapple caps over to her.
Why? Just because she wanted
Because it was
the facts?
for decorative purposes for the inside of her locker.
Okay.
And I got her locker combination, and I took 3 of them away. We were in a prank battle.
So what's interesting about that is that's not a prank. You're a thief. I was never a thief.
Yeah, no. That was the meanest prank I ever did.
I did tell somebody Homeland Security was
coming for I think if we were gonna rate them,
being a thief, you could go to.
Yeah, you're right. Wow, I should never have.
But I was falsifying that I was.
That you were working with.
I never said I
agency.
was. I said that somebody was. I never said Amanda Austin was. Dude, one day I will tell you all of the things I've done.
Oh, God. I'm nervous.
My dad, also your father-in-law, did a ton of pranks too, and used to tell us about them growing up, so maybe that's why.
Maybe.
Yeah.
One time I got frozen peas, and I put them on the guy I was dating in high school, I put him on his car, and he was hanging out with all his friends. And I walked in, and I was like, hey, I just peed on your car. And he was like, what the actual fuck?
That's
and
funny.
he was like, go clean it up. And I was like, no, come on, just it's no big deal. I peed on your car.
That's actually a really good pun.
It was a good pun.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, now
we know I'll have to cut some of those pranks
I'll have to cut
out.
some of these pranks. So Jessica goes and she contributes to Ella's election campaign as Pearson Hardman because now there's a conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. Now Ella has to recuse herself or give the money back, but either way, Jessica
She's
pointed
put her
the gun
between
at
a
Ella.
rock and a hard place. Mm-hmm.
Something she says there is to Ella is a man's reputation is at stake, which kind of felt icky to me too. She's doing all of this just to save Harvey's reputation.
But Ella's reputation was at stake too when she did it. by making her naked and wasted in front of all those people. So it's like kind of not fair that I'm saying
exactly.
Like,
yes. Yeah. Exactly. She was willing to ruin Ella's reputation, but not willing to let Harvey take the heat for something that actually happened.
Yeah.
Ella's like, you targeted me, and then she's right. Ella decides to recuse herself on the condition that Jessica admits she knows what she did, and Jessica
does admit it.
She admits it, and she's not sorry at all.
She says, I'm not sorry, and I would do it again.
I wanted that job.
I wanted it. Dang, old Jess.
Old Jessica Pearson.
I don't think I would make somebody get drunk and naked to get a job. There's not a job out there I want that bad that I would do that to someone. Like, that's the thing. Like, I didn't harm other people when I was doing pranks. Also, these pranks, we were all in an agreement that we were in a prank war.
Right.
Like, this is what was happening.
I think that's the difference. I think pranks have to happen in the prank war. You can't have one-off pranks.
And in high school, it was so much that we had a cadence where it's like, okay, now you're up.
Yep. Yeah.
Girls, balls in your court, go for it, right?
Yeah. That's when it's fun and lighthearted, and then not vindictive and crazy. But the Jessica getting her, it was in fact not a prank. It was her just sabotaging her.
Yes. So I want to be clear. I'm no sabotager.
You're a prankster.
I'm a prankster.
Yeah.
I don't like to be pranked if I'm not in the, because if somebody pranks me first, they need to know who they're going up against.
This episode serves as your warning.
It does serve as my warning. So I also don't really enjoy it as much anymore. It's not,
Right.
It's not as fun. Maybe once I got into comedy, I found a different way to like find joy.
It is. Prank wars are fun though, because you do have to like be sneaky and crafty, and it's kind of a game of strategy.
Yeah, and some of them have to be a long game. The only thing I will say is that I startle easily, so if the prank involves me like jumping and screaming and startling, I don't like it. No. And when I get you back, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
This serves as your warning.
And that's a wrap on that episode.
That is a wrap. Do you want to take us down to Prediction Town?
Yeah, here's Maggie's Prediction Town. Harvey has spiraled pretty seriously out of control, so I think he needs someone anchoring him that is not Cameron, his new assistant, who is awful. He needs a new assistant who is good, a new assistant who is Donna.
Real quick, we never talked about the fact that this assistant is named Cameron, and there's also a Cameron Dennis. And
they're running out of names or something.
But the writers could have done better.
I do think that this Cameron looks more like a Cameron.
Yes.
He's probably Cameron with a K.
Maybe.
There were lots of mentions of grandmas in this episode, so maybe Grammy is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a good, movement for Mike.
Movement. Okay.
I think that now that the dictaphone, Rachel had the dictaphone, Harvey got the dictaphone, I think Lewis is going to be very mad at Rachel.
Oh, okay.
They had this wonderful connection, this wonderful work together moment, but now she's sabotaged him by giving the dictaphone to Mike, who gave it to Harvey to make Harvey yell in his face and say he owes him. Mm-hmm. So I think that Lewis is going to get mad at Rachel and say something like, "You're not even an associate. Go take the LSAT."
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like he's going to try and put her down a peg.
It's possible. We really don't know what to expect with Lewis.
You really don't know. You don't. It did whatever way the wind blows.
You know what Lewis is like?
The wind blows doesn't really matter
to me. To me. Mama.
Ooh.
Just killed a man. Okay. I just thought of this. Cats. Not the musical, the animal.
Yes.
Cats are
also unpredictable.
Right?
Yes.
And Lewis is actually a cat. He may not be a rodent king.
He's MC Scat Cat.
He is MC Scat Cat. We were right. He is so unpredictable. And
so finicky.
Yeah, and just, you can't read him. You think you know what's... This is also, no offense to people who are cat people, because I grew up with dogs, it's harder for me to read cats, because I can't... Like, right now, I know exactly what Whiskey's thinking, because he's right here, and he either wants water, he wants to go to the bathroom, or he wants a hug. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to sneak up on me, and that's the other thing. Maybe because I startle easy. Cats are hard. Lewis is like a cat.
Yeah, he is. And Harvey's like a dog. He's like a dog that needs to be on a leash.
Yeah.
He's a loyal dog who also, if he gets out, causes some trouble.
Yeah, woof, woof, woof.
Woof, 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 woof. Lewis is a cat who's like an indoor cat, wants to make sure everything's in order, but will also knock some glasses off the table if he, whatever reason.
Don't give that guy a ball of yarn.
Don't
Do
not.
it. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay, new prediction. Oh my gosh, new prediction. Someone gives Lewis a ball of yarn. And this is going to create chaos. String theory.
Did I just give you a spoiler?
You spoiled it. I'm sorry. I got to call you out. You spoiled something
I've
for me.
tried so hard not to give you spoilers.
I can't believe you did that big, huge spoiler right there.
Spoiler. I hardly know her. Bullhorn. I'll lay it in thick. Is there anything else we need to cover?
I think that's it.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. You can listen on Apple or Spotify, and make sure that you like, subscribe, or leave us a review and say some really nice things. And if you can't say anything nice,
You can eat it.
that was a quick eat it.
You can eat it.
That was a Batman.
You owe me. Eat it.
That's good.
Is that good?
That's good. It's a nice Batman vibe.
Thanks.